it was a thrill recently here in the 10th inning to catch up with one of our favorite players of the last few years, a member of the 2001 World Series champs, a National League All-Star, and a guy who always seemed to make his presence felt when he was on the field. However, when you look back now at his tenure and timeline in Major League Baseball, certainly not what he thought or hoped for, and definitely not what could have been. Few Diamondbacks have made a first impression like Didi Gregorius.
Welcome to the big leagues.
But a dozen years ago, in the heart of that famed 2001 season, the middle infielder that everyone was talking about was Ernest Lee Spivey, a.k.a. Junior, who burst onto the scene with a 5-hit effort in just his 10th Major League game. You came to our minds recently when we saw Didi Gregorius, the big splash, his first pitch as a Diamondback, home run at Yankee Stadium. I think it was your 10th game when you put out 5 hits. You had a couple of 5-hit games in your rookie year, so I guess inquiring minds want to know, if you could say anything to a guy like Didi about the splash in the moment and then how to extend it, what would you say?
I'll say keep playing the way he's playing. He is an exciting player. I love the way he plays the game. Man, he swings the bat and he plays hard. And, you know, he's one of my favorite on the D-backs. He is definitely a spark plug. He kind of reminds me of myself a little bit because he is that spark plug.
A couple of 5-hit games, as I mentioned. One of them you started against Greg Maddux as a kid. And I know that later on he drilled you, I believe, with a pitch. And I think someone asked Bob Brenly, do you think it happened on purpose? And Bob looked at the camera and the reporter and said, do you think so? Yes, because he owned him.
I did own Greg Maddux, and I enjoyed facing Greg Maddux, and not to boast on him or anything like that, but I saw the ball well off of Greg Maddux, and throughout my whole career, I think I've hit probably 400 off of him, so I had a lot of success off of him.
In October, Spivey lost out on the final postseason roster spot, likely to Midre Cummings. I want to show you something. I used to walk by this picture every day in the press room here. What do you remember about the cover of Sports Illustrated and the unbridled joy of you crashing the pile there?
It was great for me, and what I remember before this and before the series started, Mike Morgan talking to me because I wasn't on the playoff roster, and that hurt. I was crushed. You know, I still crushed about that. And he said, "Hey, you know what, Bugman? Things happen for a reason." And he was telling me about his experience when he was left off the roster, and he said, who do you know, Bugman ends up on the cover of Sports Illustrated. And it means everything to me, and this is something I show my kids and they get excited about, and I can look back and, you know, smiles ear to ear. So that was just great. I can't tell you the amount of joy that I felt, you know, when we won that.
Spivey's time with the D-backs ended abruptly, along with 5 of his teammates, part of that mega deal that landed Richie Sexson in December 2003.
I was disappointed that I had to leave Arizona. This is the organization that drafted me. This is the organization that gave me the opportunity to win a World Series. So I experienced a lot in a short amount of time, and I felt like I still had more to do. I still had more to show the fans and more to prove to myself. So I was disappointed to leave the organization, but I was excited to get the opportunity to go someplace else. So I wasn't disappointed to go to Milwaukee. I love Milwaukee. That was awesome.
Today, Spivey is 38, well removed from his Major League career, but resurfacing with the team, recently hosting a screening of the movie 42 for the Boys and Girls Club. What did you see in the eyes of the children? Were they paying attention? Did they get it?
Absolutely, they got it, and they just couldn't realize how difficult it was back then and how baseball was and how, you know, the times were. Hopefully that will influence a lot of the kids to research their history and research baseball and research Jackie Robinson and what he stood for and the courage and what he had to overcome.
Junior, you and I had a moment in 2001 in the summer out on the road in Kansas City, Missouri at the Negro Leagues Museum. I'll never forget as long as I live, and I tried to get out of the shot because we invited Buck O'Neil because he knew you were coming.
To have Buck come out, you know, it just meant the world to me. I still have an autographed hat that he signed, and, you know, I miss him, and I miss great storyteller, and Buck, man, you know, when Buck was in your presence, man, it's just great energy, and it's just excited to be around him.
Everybody that ever played baseball started just like you did. Somebody saw you and saw good in you. And Junior, all you got to do is be the best that you can be. Not only in baseball, whatever, in life, period.
Point of fact, Junior estimated in that piece that he hit around 400 against Greg Maddux. Well, our research department points out it wasn't 400, not even close. Try 556. Not a bad clip, Junior. We'll take a break. When we come back, it's our final at bat here.